Okay, I'll just share the screen before I start the lecture. Okay, I hope the presentation is visible on your screen now.
Yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am. So I just want to quickly revise what we discussed the other day. We saw how do we sort our results by best match. We saw how do we filter our results using article types. Article types is just one filter, which I would suggest you have to use. There are other filters which you can use, but I was focusing on that first. We have to sign into my NCBI to manage your filters. I hope you have done that. We use a clipboard to add and remove things as required. So add it to them by reading title, deleted them after reading abstract if it is not relevant, keep them if they are relevant, and then go to the related citations or the references of that article and also articles similar to that article. And all the while keeping on adding more and more articles to the clipboard. So clipboard becomes like um, a dashboard for you from where you can move ahead and add more and more relevant articles. So that's what we saw. And once you do that, you can also modify your clipboard by displaying instead of title, you could display the abstracts, you could display the list of references. So we have seen the display format as well. We have seen briefly the Boolean operators and, or, and not. These used in combination help us in improving our search results. We also briefly saw the search tag, what is written in the square bracket and typed along with the keyword is going to help us in searching specific fields. For example, TI search tag helps us in searching for the title, for that word in the title. So we have seen each of this. Today we will see one of the very important things related to PubMed search, which is understanding the mesh searching, exploring the advanced search, exploring the PubMed tutorials, and we will have good discussions about any doubts that you have regarding search in PubMed. So the section 4 we will proceed now. So this is the objective for my this part of the presentation now. You should be able to identify mesh terms for your search. Now, what is this mesh term? The PubMed maintains a vocabulary of a main term and a related term. In this vocabulary, we have something called as automatic term mapping. So for example, let us say you have written compomer in your search box. Compomer is a type of, if it's a type of composite, then it will be searching, it will be automatically searching related to things related to composite. So if you search composite, automatically compomer will be searched. Or if you search oral cancer, automatically lip cancer, tongue cancer, carcinoma of the gingiva, anything that is under oral cancer will be searched. So how does this happen? If you search oral cancer, automatically you will search tongue cancer. So how does this happen? This happens because of the PubMed's vocabulary called as mesh vocabulary. So in that vocabulary, below the oral cancer is listed all these subtypes. Below composite is listed compomer. Or below glass ionomer cement is listed packable GIC. So if you search for a larger term, you are going to search for all the terms which are listed below that larger term. Okay, so by this kind of search, you will be able to search for a concept and not for a word. We saw that problem earlier when you search for post and core. The word post and the word core were searched for in the article, but not for the concept of what we know as post and core, right? So that is the problem if you are searching only keyword search. But if you are doing a mesh term search, you will be searching for a concept. So I'm going to elaborate now with an example. We will do that with one example now. We will search for the term oral neoplasm, mouth cancer, and oral cancer and see what happens. Okay, there are three terms. We know that they are all related, but how does PubMed understand it? Okay, for PubMed, any article that has the word oral and neoplasm should come in the first search result. Let us see how or what happens when we do the search. I am now going back to the PubMed and I am searching for oral cancer. And let me see what happens. We will also note down, if you have a pen and a paper, note down how many results come. Okay, so now 1,43,359 articles related to the search term oral cancer. So all these articles have the word oral and have the word cancer with them. Now we will modify the search and we will search for the related term mouth cancer and see what changes. So I am going back, instead of oral cancer, now I am searching for mouth cancer. So if I search for mouth cancer, I am getting 78,510 results. If I search for oral cancer, how many I got? I got 1,43,000. This is now exactly half of that. 78,510. Not exactly, approximately half of that. Let us search for another term. But we know that mouth cancer and oral cancer are synonymously used with in our literature. Another term, oral cancer. Let us use the term now, oral cancer. Mouth and oral are the same, but we will use the term oral cancer. And let us see how many search results have come. Again, 1,43,359. 1,43,359. Same as what we got for the earlier search. So why did this whole change happen? When it was oral cancer, it was different. The search results are different. When it was mouth cancer, number of search results were different. Oral neoplasm, search result is different. So this is happening because the PubMed is searching the word oral and the word cancer somewhere in the article. But PubMed is also doing what we call as automatic term mapping. It is automatically recognizing the term oral cancer and trying to translate it in its dictionary. PubMed has a dictionary. So what has it translated with in its dictionary? If we know what word PubMed likes processing, which is the mesh term, we will be able to search accordingly. So I am going to now go to the PubMed homepage and show you a way of searching called as mesh searching. What is this? The term which PubMed recognizes. We are trying to get that term now. Okay, so by default we search like this. If you just slightly go below over here, can you see many other options over here? So one of the option that is there over here, I think the cursor is hovering over there now. Explore, below the explore we have the mesh database. So let me click on that. Okay, so now we have got to the mesh database. Within the mesh database, let us search the term oral cancer. Okay, you can see now the PubMed has searched within its dictionary. This is not the PubMed. This is the vocabulary of PubMed. In this vocabulary, we have searched for the term oral cancer, but what we got in return is mouth neoplasm. Okay, the search term which you put was oral cancer, but what PubMed understood it as is mouth neoplasm. Right? If you want to confirm with this description, we will click on this. I have clicked on this now. It has now given the description what mouth neoplasm is: tumors or cancer of the mouth, which we know is correct. It also has given, you can see here, all the entry terms. Can you see all this, which I have now highlighted? These are all the terms. If you type any one of them, it is going to ultimately map to what we call as mouth neoplasm, or what PubMed understands as mouth neoplasm. So instead of typing any one of these terms, if you searched for the term mouth neoplasm, you will be doing the best search. So what I am doing now is adding mouth neoplasm to the search builder. You can see mouth neoplasm as a mesh term. How did I do that? I simply added it to the search builder, and you can also see these Boolean operators and or and not. In case you want to combine multiple mesh terms, it is possible. Right now I am not doing that. I am just showing you what will happen if I search by mouth neoplasm as a mesh term, and I am searching the PubMed. Okay, now the articles which we have got now are 69,000. But earlier two results when we searched, we got 1,43,000, 1,43,000, 1 lakh, and 78,000. But when we searched by the concept called mouth neoplasm, almost 50% of the articles have now been removed. Why does that happen? Because the term oral and the term cancer are so common. Let us say somebody is describing, let us say lung cancer in his article, and somewhere in the article he has used the word, let us say oral. It's a very common word to use, you know. If the word cancer and if the word oral is there, such article will come up if you are doing the text word search. That's why you have a lot of results coming up there. But what we have done now is we have searched for, we have identified the term mouth neoplasm as a mesh term, and we have searched for that particular term. And these 69,000 articles which you have got, you can be rest assured that oral cancer or mouth neoplasm is one of the important concepts of that article. Okay, so how does this happen? Actually, when PubMed has this vocabulary, there are people called as indexers. Let us say you write an article, and your article gets published in a journal, and then PubMed has indexed that particular journal. The journal submits, or journal's article is now available to PubMed. What PubMed does is a process called indexing process, which I told you is not done in Google Scholar, not done in Google, right? PubMed is a good search engine because it does this process called indexing. What is this indexing? It is simply the indexer reads each article that now is available in PubMed and assigns certain mesh terms for that particular article. I will just show you how that is done here. I'll just open the first article that's there here. You can see that this article is related to relationships between oral squamous cell carcinoma and implants. Obviously, this is related to oral cancer. If you can see this title and authors, abstract, similar articles, publication types. On the right hand side of the screen, I am showing you what we call as mesh term. Okay, I clicked on the mesh term. And as you can see, what is this? What is being listed over here? These are the keywords not given by the author, These are the keywords recognized by the indexer who has read this article, and he believes that these are the keywords of the article, but he just does not write anything as a keyword. That keyword should also be a mesh term or a term which PubMed understands. Only such terms he's going to recognize and he's going to list them here. You can see for this particular article which we saw earlier, the mesh terms related to that article are biopsy, and then carcinoma diagnosis, carcinoma etiology, dental implant adverse effects, diagnosis, differential diagnosis, humans, mouth neoplasm, diagnosis, mouth neoplasm etiology, and peri-implantitis. If you just read these terms, what you get in your mind is, okay, this article is about implant. This article is about adverse effects of the implant. This article is also related to peri-implantitis, but not just peri-implantitis. Probably peri-implantitis or implant as a cause for squamous cell carcinoma, because etiology is the term used over there. You can see what's happened here. Indexer has read the article, understood the article, and specified his own keywords, and those keywords are the mesh terms. And for some of those keywords, he has also put a asterisk there. You can see a star mark over there. So these are the major theme of that article. Biopsy is also a theme, but not a major theme, because it doesn't have that star mark over there. So in a nutshell, if you search by mesh term, you are going to search for a concept. If you are searching by keywords, you are only going to search for those words. We will go back to our search of post and core and see how that applies to this new understanding now. At any stage, if you feel you have not understood, this particular concept might be slightly difficult, please interrupt me and ask me a question. I'm going back to the PubMed now. I am searching for post and core. Let us see how many articles come up. We have 17,000 articles now. You can see on the screen here, 17,000 articles, 17,658 to be precise on post and core. But I bet you some of these articles will have simply the word post and the core somewhere in the article. It will not at all be related to prosthodontics. Okay, we have seen one such article in previous search yesterday. I could probably search one such article now also. You know, it would not be related to post and core at all. It would simply be, I'll just change the display option just to make things slightly more clear to us. Okay, this has got nothing to do with the total number of search results. It will still be 79,658. But I removed the relevance and I made the latest article come up first. Sorry, I made the oldest article come up first. You can see what's happening here. Conference on Organization of Postgraduate Dental Education. The word post was there, so he took it up. Okay, probably core also is there somewhere. Maybe core curriculum or some other word may have been used. The second article, you see, post dental hemorrhage. Okay, it is the same 17,000 results. Okay, I have not manipulated anything. It is the same 17,000 results. I just rearranged them in that order of earliest article to the latest article. And as you can see now, these articles are all irrelevant which have come out of the cast core acrylic post crown. Okay, that's probably related in some way. 70 cases of Kupper's post image, not related, right? So what's happening here? It is searching for the term post and the term core. You can again see one more 11th article, Neurological Information Network of National Institute of Neurological Disease. Where does the post and core come, and where does the neurological disease? So that's the problem. The problem is it search for the word post. You can see here core highlighted here, the term core. So it just simply search for the words post and core, and that's all. It did not understand it. So you want the PubMed to understand it, then you have to ask the PubMed, okay, what do you understand by post and core? And search accordingly. Let's do that. How do we do that? We do that by do that by um, the PubMed search for the mesh term. So we will go back to the PubMed homepage. There is another way to go to this more quickly, but I am just in order not to confuse you, I am just directly going to Google, opening the home page, and then repeating the process. Okay, you remember this was the mesh database. Let's go to the mesh database and let us search whether post and core are a term which our mesh understands, or PubMed understands as a concept and not as a word. You can see it understands. It has given us an answer called post and core technique. I just wrote post and core, but it has given the term which it understands, post and core technique. And it is also giving us what are all the terms which are mapped alongside that particular thing. So if you search any one of them, it's going to ultimately search for post and core. It's also searching, giving us where is it classified. It is classified under crowns, okay, under dental prosthodontics. So someone's mic is open, I suppose. Could you please mute it? Okay. So that's the term which we are looking for now, post and core. And let us repeat the search with this term now. How do we add this search to the PubMed? I simply ask it add to search builder. You can see my cursor hovering over there. I have added to the search builder there. You can see post and core technique, and you can see the search tag automatically coming up called mesh. Now I am asking it to search the PubMed. You can see search the PubMed. You can see now what happens. From 17,000 articles, the articles which have come down now are 4,057. So rest of the 8,000 articles simply were not about post and core at all. They had used the term post and they had used the term core somewhere in the article, and it came up in the search result. Okay. Now, but these, since we have searched by mesh term, these 4,000 articles, you can be sure that an indexer has read it and categorized that this article is about post and core. Okay. Since it takes some time for the National Library of Medicine to employ the indexers to read these articles, they map these article and article comes up. The newly posted articles may not be having these mesh terms listed. Okay. Like November 2017 article may not have this mesh term listed. And you can see these articles now and see any one of the article is not useful. I will again sort it out the same way we sorted out earlier. Display options. We will see the oldest to the newest. And we do have a very old article which has come up. Probably indexing system was not there during that period of time. Okay, so if we go to this particular article, it has still come up. Okay, I thought this will not come up, but this has still come up. And if we go to the mesh terms of this particular article, oh, in this article they did discuss about dentistry education and they did discuss about post and core, and that's why this has come up. Okay, so this has come up not because it was not relevant, it has come up because indexer has found post and core in this particular article. Okay, so this was related to postgraduate dental education, but now the article has not come because of this word post. It has come because you have searched for the term post and core, and post and core was one of the important keywords of this particular article. Okay. Of course, this will not be applicable to the articles which are latest or which are very old, where this indexing system was not available, right? So, but we can still confidently say that we have got articles which are now the second one, post dental hemorrhage. And if we go to its mesh term, okay, Post and core technique was still mentioned there. Okay, it was mentioned there. We'll have to go and see the article to see what exactly was, because this is abstract is not available, so we don't know what exactly is the situation. Anyway, what I wanted to demonstrate to you is from 7,000 we reduced the number of articles to 4,000 just by searching for mesh term. Okay, and each of these articles, when we go, we know that they are all related to post and core as read by an indexer and as listed over there. Okay, I'll go back to the presentation. At this stage, if you have a doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll go back and tell you a little more about the mesh searching. Let us do that with two examples here. I want to search mass screening of oral cancer. The terms which are there over here is mass screening and oral cancer. Let us first find whether this, what happens if I am just putting this term, mass screening of oral cancer, and see what happens to my search result and how identifying the mesh terms is going to improve my search result. So let's do that. Okay, just a second. Okay, the term which I want to search is mass screening of oral cancer. Let us see how the search results come up with this. I'll change the order to the latest one. Okay. Now I am searching for mass screening of oral cancer. And let us see what happens. Let us see how many results come up. There are just 1073 articles, 1073. That's all. Just 1073 articles when I put this search term. None of this is a mesh term. Okay, I have not identified a mesh term. Do you really think there will be just 1,000 articles related to oral cancer screening? Probably not. Okay, but what happens is the word mass screening may not have been used by all authors. Some people may have used oral screening. Some people may have used screening. Some people may have used examination. Okay, what word they may have used, we don't know. So since we are searching for the words, we have a problem here. See, this type of searching got us just 1073 articles. Let's now identify the mesh terms for both of these. Let's go back to our PubMed homepage. I have another way of actually searching for the mesh terms. Okay, we will go to PubMed and I'm going to the home page again. This is just to remind you of where the mesh terms are found. This is a mesh database. There's a shortcut way to go here, but I'm not showing that to you right now. Okay, now which were the terms which I was interested in? One was mass screening. Let me see whether mass screening is a mesh term. Mass screening. It's giving me some autocomplete option. Okay, mass screening is one of the search term. So what I will do, I have understood that this is a search term, one of the mesh term. So I will add this to my search builder. I have added mass screening. Let me see whether oral cancer is a mesh term. We know that oral cancer is a mesh term, right? We just now searched for it, but still we will see. Okay. We have now, Okay, I think we have seen earlier that it is mouth neoplasm, right? I think there is a spelling mistake there. Okay. Mouth neoplasm. We know that that's a mesh term. Just now we had searched for it, right? Okay, so mouth neoplasm. Now I have to search for mass screening and mouth neoplasm. Now I have to add this mouth neoplasm with a Boolean operator and. We have seen that, right? So I am just going to select and by default and add it to the search builder. You can see on the right hand side of the screen now, you can see mass screening, a mesh term, and mouth neoplasm, a mesh term. So now it's going to search for the concept of mass screening. I'm just removing the unnecessary bracket there. Okay. Mass screening as a mesh term and mouth neoplasm as a mesh term. So now I have to search the PubMed and see what happens. Okay. Now the results are still less. That means there are really less articles related to this particular topic. But what I can be sure of is all these 500 articles which we have got now are all related to mass screening and oral cancer. Why? Because I have searched by mesh term. And when I go to each of these articles, let us say I'll go to the article number 2. And if I see the keywords of that article, I will be 100% sure. I'll go to the mesh term of that particular article. See, in this article, one of the keyword used was mouth neoplasm. Other keyword used here was mass screening. You can see. So I can be very sure that these two are the concepts in all these 500 articles which are there listed over there. Okay. So that's a demonstration for mass screening of oral cancer. Now again, the second thing that we want to search, questionnaires that measure stress. Okay, this is the second example now. Again, I will show you what happens with only text word search and how searching by mesh is going to improve that result. So I am putting now simple questionnaires that measure stress. This is how we usually search, right? Keyword search. And we have got now 28,631 articles. I am just noting it down, 28,631 articles with questionnaires that measure stress. But there are mesh terms here probably which we have not recognized. So if one way of, I told you that there is a shortcut way to recognize a mesh term, which I can do by going to advanced search. You can see in the advanced search I have a query. You can see query translation. In this query translation, we can automatically find a mesh term. Okay, if you don't want to go through that, long method, we have all the terms wherever mesh term is there. For example, surveys and questionnaire is a mesh term. Okay, so I am selecting this particular thing now, and I am putting it in my search box. Let me see whether stress is one of the mesh term. Let's see that. Okay, you can see weights, measures, stress, stressful, so it's not there. So you can see stress is not over here as well. Okay, so I need to find now a term related to stress. So what I will do, I will go back to my PubMed homepage. I'll see whether PubMed has any idea of what does it translate when we type stress. So I have written stress here, and you can find so many things coming up over there. Probably oxidative stress. See, it's not related to the stress which we are talking about, right? Stress due to fracture, not related to what we want to search, but yes, there is a term related to what we want to search. Stress, psychological. See, when you put the term stress, PubMed translated it is anything, physical stress also. So now we know that PubMed understands the stress, the word stress differently. So what we will do, we will use this term, stress, psychological. This is the mesh term. So I am adding this to the search builder and adding an and adding surveys and questionnaire as a mesh term. And now let me search in PubMed. So what I am searching in PubMed, psychological stress as a mesh term, survey and questionnaire as a mesh term. And now how many articles I have got? I have still got approximately similar number of articles, 28,000 articles. Okay, but don't go by the number. If you actually saw the quality of these articles or the quality of these result with the quality of that other result, you would know. If you just compare few of them, you would know, because I have put this most recent here. Let me just make it most relevant. You will still get a better idea of what's happening. So I am now going for best match. And you can see that all these articles are related to psychological stress and probably which have used questionnaire. Okay, so by doing this kind of mesh searching, you are very sure. And if you go to any article, any of these article, like let's say 29th article I am going now, and if you go to the keywords as given by the indexer, you can see that psychological stress is there and survey and questionnaire is there as one of the themes. So this is how we improve our search by using the mesh term searching. Okay, this you could do as home exercise. Forensic dentistry and disasters, instead of putting it as forensic dentistry in mass disasters. There's a huge difference in that. You can do that as a home exercise. Okay, now I am showing you one more thing called mesh major term and mesh subheading. What is a mesh major term? Earlier I was showing you the article with the descriptor terms. Some terms were star marked, some terms were not star marked. All those terms which were star marked are the major themes of that article. So you could search for a specific concept called mesh major term. If you are searching for a major term, you are sure that that particular article has that term not just listed, but also listed as a major term. That means that is the major theme of that particular article. So it is a major theme of the article as decided by the indexer. Out of the 7 or 8 keywords or 10 keywords which he puts, some keywords he selects them as major terms. So if you search by mesh major term, you are going to get all the articles which have that particular term as a major term or a major concept of that article. By searching mesh major theme, you will get articles that have that concept as the central theme of that particular article. So let us just see how things change as we keep doing these things. We will search for the term endodontics, very general topic. We will search for this term with a text word search. Then we will refine it. We will do a mesh search. Then we will refine it, do it a mesh measure search. and then mesh subheading search. And I will show you how results can come up with each of these. You can watch carefully how I do it. I'm again going back to the good old method of going to Google and going to PubMed. There are other shortcuts to go to the mesh database. I'm not showing that. Okay. I'm searching for the term endodontics. Let us see how many search results come up. We have got 48,168 results with the search term endodontics. And we both know that this may have, all these 48,000 articles may not have endodontics as a major theme of that particular article. May have, may not have. Okay. That term may have been somewhere used, somewhere in one last sentence of that article, still this will come up here. Okay. You don't want that to happen. So if you don't want that to happen, we want to search endodontics as a mesh term. Let us see whether endodontics is a mesh term at all. We will go to the mesh database. And we have searched for the term endodontics. You can see that it is a mesh term. There is also description for that particular term. You can see. And there are entry terms like endodontology. And it is also giving you, as I told you, what all will come in endodontics. Also, the PubMed is giving you as a mesh hierarchy. So if you search for the term endodontics, you will automatically search for all these terms: apicectomy, dental implantation, dental pulp capping, pulpotomy, pulpectomy, regenerative endodontics, root canal therapy, apexification, root tooth reimplantation, right? So if you search for the mesh term endodontics, you will automatically search for all the terms which are listed below that particular term. Okay, so that's another confidence for you that you will be searching the right article. Okay, so this is a good way to confirm. So what I do now, endodontics, I add it to the search builder. I have added a term, mesh term endodontics to the search builder, and I am searching the PubMed. Now, you remember earlier how many results were there? I have noted it down. Earlier, there were 48,000 articles with the term endodontics, but probably right now the number of articles which we have got now is 28,448. I can be very confidently telling you that all these 28,000 articles have endodontics as one of the keywords of that particular article as read and assessed by the indexer. That means rest of the 20,000 articles which came up as a result, which you will never read because it's 20,000 results, how will you read? So those 20,000 articles would have mixed up with these 28,000 articles and given you the earlier result, where 20,000 articles would be really misleading articles, because the indexer read that article and never thought that endodontics was a theme of that article. Okay, so we have reduced now the number of articles from 48,000 to 28,000 by searching for mesh term. Now I am going to make another modification here. Mesh major term. What I am doing here, just see. The search tag MESH was there, that was searching for mesh term. I am changing that. I am making it MAJR. I am using a search tag called MAJR. What is this search tag MAJR? It is telling the PubMed, please give me articles that have endodontics, not just as one of the keywords, only those articles which have endodontics as one of the major keywords. So let me repeat the search now. Remember 28,000 results we have got with mesh term. Now the results have reduced to 19,578. So what happened now? I removed another 10,000 articles Okay, 10,000 articles means you can imagine how much of time you will spend in going through those articles, right? So 10,000 articles I have removed now just by making this small change, asking the PubMed to give me a major term instead of a mesh term. Okay, so now I am confident. Now let us say if I go to this particular first article, I not only know that it is related to endodontics, but it has been listed as a major term. You can see the star mark over there. Endodontics was the major theme of this particular article. So you have got such an article where endodontics is the major theme. Cryotherapy is also there mentioned in this article, but it is not a major theme. It's a minor theme of that article. So searching by mesh term and major mesh term will give you a lot of control over the process of searching by concept, not by keyword. So that's what I wanted to display over here. So from 48,000, we reduced the number of articles to 28,000 when we search for a mesh term. From 28,000, we reduced it to nearly 19,000, almost 9,000 articles we reduced by searching for a major term. So whenever your search results are very broad, you could always recognize the mesh term and try to see whether you could search specifically for mesh term or mesh major term. There is also another concept called mesh subterm, mesh subheading. I'm not displaying that to you now for lack of time. Mesh subheading is also a useful concept. I'm not displaying that now. We will move ahead. Okay, we will go to two more things which I wanted to mention before we open for questions. Nesting, already demonstrated to you nesting. Nesting is when you are using Boolean operators in combination. In this case, I have written common cold and vitamin C, common cold and zinc. Instead of making two separate searches for common cold and vitamin C, common cold and zinc and adding those articles, what I have done here in a single search, I have combined both of them, common cold and then put a bracket, vitamin C or zinc. So I am asking the PubMed to give me any article which is related to common cold and then whatever is there in this bracket, which is nested. We call it as nesting. So give me any article which has common cold and the term either vitamin or zinc, vitamin C or zinc, because I have put the term or as a Boolean operator over there. So that's nesting. Another thing which I wanted to tell you, if you search for a term called calcium phosphate, let us say, the PubMed is going to find the word calcium and find the word phosphate somewhere in the article, but not necessarily the term, the phrase calcium phosphate in the same order. Okay, it may be calcium somewhere in the first sentence and phosphate somewhere in the last sentence. It will pick up them and give you. If you want the exact term, you could use a double quote and you could again improve your search results. But I would advise you to use the double quote sparingly and use mesh terms more because if you put under double quote, it is going to search, let us say if you put oral cancer under double quote, it's going to search for any article which has the phrase oral cancer, but not mouth neoplasm. Okay, so it's going to search only for that term. But if there are synonyms, it's not going to search for that. That's why you search for the mesh vocabulary. So before we move on, we can have a question now.
Question.
Yes, please, Chetna. Anybody with questions?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, please tell me.
So this is Dr. Meenakshi.
Yes.
So I had a question that if I have to publish an article,
Hmm.
say related to tongue thrusting,
Okay.
and I have to give keywords.
Okay.
So these keywords always have to be the mesh terms, or how do I select those keywords?
Okay. If a keyword that is specified by the author is a mesh term, it is very good because so many times now journals specify, ask you to give a keyword which is a mesh term. But let us say I have come out with a new concept and that is right now one of the key mesh terms.
Okay.
Let us say before lingual orthodontics was became a concept at all. If I first time devised lingual orthodontics and came out with that particular keyword, that keyword will not be available as a mesh term. Then I cannot put lingual orthodontics as a mesh term because that's not available as a mesh term at all, because that is a new concept which I have generated now. So wherever feasible and possible, if you could identify a mesh term, it will be very good. But if something is a theme of your article, but it doesn't have any term associated with the mesh term, then only go on and add those terms. But your effort should always be to add mesh terms first. And after all that, if still your article is something is missing from your major theme of your article, then you could specify your author's terms. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, sir. I understood. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay, so we had one question, so we will move ahead, quickly show you the advanced search builder, and then we will close the session. Let us say I want to search a practice guideline related to use of antibiotics in children after dental procedures. Okay, so I want to find any practice guideline. Now, if I ask you how do we search, practice guideline is one of the filters. So I would use practice guideline not in my search term, but as a filter, right? And antibiotics, I would definitely would like to look up and see what is the mesh term related to antibiotics. Because antibiotics are so many, and then we have, sometimes we call them as antimicrobials. Sometimes we don't use the term antibiotic, but we would have used the term penicillin some in the article, and then we wouldn't have used the term antibiotic. We may not have used the term antibiotic. So you want to be using antibiotic as a mesh term and search. Children is one of the filters which you can easily pick up and put it. Dental procedure, again, we can specifically put for dental articles. So now the only term which I need to look up here is antibiotics, right? So I will search for that mesh term and go ahead. Okay, second example, I have access to the following journals. Let us say CDOE, CDH, two journals are there for which I have access to. I want to find all the review articles on fluoride in these two journals. Now, fluoride, yes, we can find a mesh term associated with it. Review articles is one of the filter, so we can use the filter on the left hand side. CDOA and CDH are journals. Now, how do we search for these journals specifically? I want articles only in these two journals. So I'll just demonstrate to you with the advanced search option. So you can see here there is a advanced search option in the Google, in the PubMed, and this advanced search option has multiple options available to you. The default option is all fields, but you could search by multiple other options available to you. So one of the option available to you over here, I am just going to simplify that. One of the option available to me is journal option. So, and I wanted the journal community dentistry oral epidemiology. I'm just typing it, and autocomplete option is already suggesting me that such a journal exists, right? I have clicked on that. So now what I am asking the PubMed to search is any article which is published in the journal, in this specific journal, community dentistry oral epidemiology. I am adding it to the query box. You can see the search tag now, community dentistry oral epidemiology as a journal. So I am specifying PubMed, look, if the term community dentistry oral epidemiology is there as a journal name, then only you search that for me. Then next one. Then I will use all the fields and I'll search fluoride. So I am asking it to be giving me articles related to community dentistry and oral epidemiology and fluoride. But I could add another journal here by combination of Boolean operators and or and not. You can see all that options are available over there on the right hand side of the screen. Now I am just simply doing this community dentistry, oral epidemiology and fluoride. And you can see that now I have 615 articles. All the articles are from a specific journal. You can see community dentistry or epidemiology, community dentistry or epidemiology. All 615 articles are from that one journal only. And they are related to fluoride. So I can be sure of that. So that's how we do the advanced search. So another minute or two is there. I'll just give another example before we close the session. Lung cancer study by Doll and Hill. This is a very famous study in our public health. Lung cancer study by Doll and Hill. Lung cancer probably will be a mesh term. We will search for it. And then Doll and Hill are authors. So I don't want to be searching, just putting lung cancer study by Doll and Hill. And the word Doll and Hill may not be there in the article, right? So I will go to my PubMed. I want to first identify whether lung cancer is a mesh term. Okay, I have gone to the mesh database here. I'll just see whether lung cancer is a mesh term. Search for it. Okay, lung cancer is not a mesh term, but lung neoplasm is a mesh term. I'm okay with that. So I now know that lung neoplasm is a mesh term. So I will go back to my advanced search now. I am searching for mesh term. I can do that here also. I already know that it is a mesh term. Lung neoplasm. Okay, this is a shortcut way I was telling about. I just now showed you the long process of going to the mesh term and searching. This is a shortcut way of searching a mesh term. Lung neoplasm is a mesh term. So I just delete other things and I am adding. So now you can see in the query box what is there. Lung neoplasm is a mesh term. And I want now search in the author field. So now I am searching in the author field. Let me see where it is there. Okay, author. Now the author whom I require is Doll. Okay, there are so many dolls. I don't know which person is that. So I'm just going to write this only and Doll as an author. I also want another author called Hill. Again, I don't know the initial, so I'm just going to not select the autocomplete option, and now I am giving this. So what I am asking the PubMed now, please give me any article written on lung neoplasm by both these authors, Doll as author and Hill as author, and I have put a search. You can see now there are 16 articles. All the 16 articles are on lung cancer. And you can see in the authors list, all the articles are written by these two great epidemiologists, Doll and Hill. You can see 16 articles, all the articles written by Doll and Hill, and all the articles on oral cancer. So that's how we could zero in on what exactly we want by using the advanced search. But if you have a knowledge of how Boolean operators work, how mesh terms work, what are the search fields, search tags, all that knowledge, and then you come to the advanced search, then you will be able to do a very good job of searching. Okay, so there are PubMed tutorials available where you can go and find this information and learn for yourself. Where do you find this information? I asked you to explore the PubMed help. So from there also you could know. So just to summarize, we have seen how do we sort by best match, how do we filter by article types, how do we use the managing of filters. If you sign into MyNCBI, many other things other than managing filters are there, like storing your results and things like that. I have not told that to you. or asking the PubMed to repeat a specific search and send you the search results once in 3 months, 6 months, whatever your topic is. So all those options are there. Please explore them. Clipboard, related citations, display format, Boolean operator, search tag, mesh term, advanced search, and PubMed tutorials. So these are all the things which I told till now. Before we finish, we could have a discussion if ma'am permits. But I'll just conclude saying that again, using these things only will get you to do these things. If you just listen to this right now and if you don't use it, it's like just gone. It's just a waste of time what you attended now for 2 hours. Okay, so please use these things, and any doubts are there, you can ask me now if time permits. Thank you.
Definitely, we can have a question and answer session. Now it depends on whether they have questions. Please go ahead, students, staff members, whoever has any questions, unmute and go ahead, ask your question. I think we can wind up, Dr. Ravi. Anyway, they have your email ID, and you know, they can always come to us also if they have any issues.
Sure.
Doesn't look like anybody has any questions. Shall we wind up?
Sure, ma'am.
So we meet tomorrow at 12 noon for questionnaire study.
Question is, yeah, sure.
A lecture on questionnaire study. Okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome.